it is highly possible to reach the last target at $70,000. The Federal Reserve cuts interest rates by 50 basis points. Gold's technical breakout suggests it may reach $3,000 per ounce. Today we are diving into the most important developments of the financial markets, the Federal Reserve's latest rate cut, and how it's impacting everything from equities to precious metals. With inflation still running hot and recession fears on the horizon, gold is on a historic run, and we'll breaking down the levels to watch, along with what this could mean for the broader market. Whether you're trading stocks, following gold, or just keeping an eye on the economy, this is a critical moment. So let's get started. You know, I always like to start with the economic calendar, and this is the first thing we always do. So we start the week with the release of manufacturing and services PMI for France and Germany, two of the biggest economies in Europe. These indices are important because they show us how the economic activity is performing in these sectors. If the numbers are low, it could mean that the economy is slowing down, which is not a good sign for growth. If they are higher, it suggests businesses are producing more, indicating that the economy is moving forward. Later at 8:45 a.m., the PMI data is released for the United States. These numbers give us an idea of how the US economy is doing. If these figures improve, the US dollar could strengthen. Tuesday, September 24th, this day kicks off with the US Consumer Confidence Index at 9 a.m. This is a key figure because it measures how optimistic or pessimistic consumers feels about the economy. If the confidence is high, it means people are willing to spend, which is good for economic growth. If you are following the Japanese market, at 12:05 a.m. we will have the Japanese bank governor speaking. And lastly, at 12:10 p.m. we'll also hear from Macklem, the governor of the Bank of Canada. His speeches are important because they can provide hints about future monetary policy decisions, like interest rate changes. Then we are going to Thursday, September 26th. The day starts at 7:30 a.m. with the United States seeing the final GDP figures for the quarter. This is one of the most important pieces of data as it shows how the country's economy is growing. A higher figure means a healthy economy, while a lower number might raise concerns. We'll also get the weekly unemployment claims report as every Thursday at the same hour. If more people are applying for unemployment benefits, it could be a sign that the job market is weakening. Later in the day, we will hear from Jerome Powell at 8:20 a.m. You know that Jerome Powell is the chair of the Federal Reserve. As always, his words will be closely watched as he could give clues about future Fed decisions, particularly about interest rate and inflation. Finally, with Friday, September 27th, we start the day with the Canadian GDP, showing how the Canadian economy has performed in the past month. It will be at 7:30 a.m. and since it's a monthly report, it's more up to date than the quarterly GDP, and any changes could impact the Canadian dollar. We will also get at the same hour the core PCE price index, one of the most closely watched inflation indicators by the Federal Reserve. This data is crucial because it shows how prices are evolving, and it can influence the Fed's future decisions. And now let's kick off today's news segment with a major update. And that's because this week, as you will know, the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates by 50 basis points, beginning a much anticipated easing cycle. The Fed signaled another half-point cut by the end of 2024, with two remaining policy meetings in November and December. The central bank's dot plot showed rates likely reaching 4.4% by year's end. This decision was well received as both equities and gold hit all-time highs, despite inflation being well above the Fed's 2% target. The Fed's decision was driven by concerns over the economy, as seen in the yield curve inversion, which historically signals a recession. In response, gold prices have surged, with gold futures reaching $2,600 per ounce, while geopolitical tensions, especially in the Middle East, have further boosted safe haven buying. Gold's technical breakout suggests it may reach $3,000 per ounce, with a possible high of $3,336 per ounce based on Fibonacci levels. However, analysts suggest that a drop below $2,300 could signal the end of the rally. In other news, with the 2024 United States presidential election just 2 months away, analysts are debating the potential impact of Bitcoin based on the decision depending on the election's outcome. Donald Trump, who has promised to make the US the crypto capital of the planet and turn Bitcoin into a strategic reserve asset, is seen as more favorable for the cryptocurrency industry. On the other hand, Kamala Harris is expected to follow a more cautious approach with tighter regulations. Analysts predict that a Trump victory could lead Bitcoin to $120,000, driven by favorable policies, lower taxes, and potential rate cuts. Conversely, Harris's win might lead to short-term price suppression, with Bitcoin potentially falling to $40,000 due to the Democratic Party's less favorable stance on crypto. However, long-term growth for Bitcoin is expected in both scenarios, as Harris's administration might encourage crypto's mainstream adoption through regulatory clarity and economic policies like money printing. Expert highlights that political shifts may affect Bitcoin in the short term, but its fundamentals and growing global adoption will drive long-term growth. Bitcoin's performance will also depend on regulatory policies, with Trump's approach expected to be more deregulated and Harris potentially offering stability through tighter oversight. Ultimately, analysts agree that Bitcoin will likely rise regardless on the election's outcome, though the pace and volatility may vary. Other cryptocurrencies, however, may face challenges as Bitcoin solidifies its dominance in the market. Now let's go with the graphics, and as always we start with the DXY, which is the United States dollar index. So as we talked the last week, we reached all the targets for last week: 101,296 and the other one 101,442. These 2 points were reached, and after the price reached these targets, as you can see, the price fell down. It establishes a higher low. You can see here, this low is higher than the last one, and then it tries to go up. The problem right now is that the price doesn't have enough gas, so it is possible that the price will go down before trying to have another bullish movement. For me, this week, the objectives or the targets will be bearish. So the first target for me will be 147 and the last target will be 100,215. If you are bullish with Bitcoin, remember that you have here a rejection block. If we only put the rejection block here, I can extend it and I define the 50% of this rejection block, we can establish a target at 101 and 315 points. And the last target, as we saw the last week, would be 101 and 665 points. So if you're bullish, you know which targets I am trying to see with my trading. Let's continue with the SP 500. As you see, we reached our main target for the last week, which was $5,669. After the price reached this, price tried to fall down, tried to gather more liquidity, and after that it went with an upward movement and it established a new all-time high, which is located at $5,733. I'm not expecting like bullish movements for this week, so you need to stay put because price tends first to take more liquidity in lower points before trying to get a new upward movement. My objectives for this week for sure will be this low, which is located here at 5,674, and one of the main objectives, maybe I could say, this target that we have pending is located here at $5,517. After this, if you continue bearish with the movement, maybe you can target to $5,402, and then you also have $5,364, $5,280 as my last bearish target. And we have here a last target, bearish target, but I don't see high probability to this movement to happen. You know, price will be taking liquidity here, maybe here, and then it is highly possible that you could see a bullish movement for this week. Take into account all the targets we have established, and don't forget to always base your decisions on your strategy. Next one, Euro USD. I have established this objective for the last week, which was at 1.0 11.36.1, which we reach without difficulties. And well, I think based on my strategy that is highly possible to continue an upward movement. One of the targets I would have this week would be to reach this point of the price 1.12017, and if the price continue its movement, we will see that the price could touch the next target, which is located at 1.12758. On the other hand, if you are trying to see bearish targets, I will put like an objective here in 1.11361. I will also be expecting to reach bearish targets at 1.10613 and the last one at 1.10375. What do I mean with this? If the price continue to go down, price can take liquidity from here, from this fair value gap, or from this fair value gap, and then we could see an upward movement, so the price can be efficient. And last but not least, we have here Bitcoin. As you can see, we reached our first target, which was located at $62,000 here. And well, next target would be for me at $65,000, and the last one would be for this week at least at $66,000 with $837. So don't forget to take into account these targets because we could see a bullish movement with Bitcoin. The thing is that the Federal Reserve rates cut will bring an easy market for the variable rent. So it is likely to see a bullish movement from Bitcoin, from stocks, from metals. Don't forget that. On the other hand, if you're trying to catch bearish movements, maybe one of the main targets for you would be $59,174, and the last one would be $57,477. You need to take into account we are in an upward structure, so it is kind of difficult for the price to go so low, so don't forget that. Before we finish, try to remember, if we reach these two objectives, these two targets, it is highly possible to reach the last target at $70,000, and after this it is possible to try to reach the all-time high with Bitcoin, which is located above $73,000. And that's it for today's analysis. We are entering a crucial period for the markets, and it's going to be exciting to see how things unfold. If you find this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you never miss our latest updates on the financial markets. And finally, don't forget that in the description of this video, you will have all the links you need to registering one of the most reliable brokers, that is our broker Xchief. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.